Wow. I've not seen these many.
You're looking at max capacity of 110,000.
We operated roughly about 90 acres here.
Smells much nicer than a lot of other distilleries I've been to. Just reached Lux Row Distillery, so I'm getting a private tour here along with some barrel samples to pick some barrels. So many Rickhouses back there. I think I passed like a mile of them. But yeah, let's see what they've got here. Penelope, Rebel, Remus, everything's made here. I think Remus is from Ross and Squibb, but Penelope is here. Oh wow, you guys right into it.
Oh yeah. We don't waste a second.
So these are the fermenters.
Yes. So, well, actually 14 of them will produce about 8,000 gallons worth of mash in each one of them. When we get upstairs, you'll be able to see the backside of things, so that's where that main expansion came through. 12 of those fermenters will produce about 16,000 gallons.
Very cool.
At least that.
Oh wow. Smells much nicer than a lot of other distilleries I've been to.
Well, good, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Fresh too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So this
Sweeter.
is like really kind of getting to that activation here in this first day. So what you're really seeing is just the yeast is now consuming the ingredients from the mash we're producing today. So we have about 2 mash bills that we'll use to produce 4 of our different flagship brands. So our wheated mash bill, we're not making that today. So that's going to consist of 68% corn, 20% wheat, 12% malted barley. We use that for our brands of Rebel and our J. Nicholson 1843. And then our rye mash bills, which actually in these containers, so that's going to contain 78% corn, 10% rye, 12% malted barley mash bill. So typically this would be used for batches for Ezra Brooks and also our Dave Nicholson Reserve. So where you're kind of seeing is right now the corn, rye, wheat, malted barley has all been kind of broken down. The yeast is now added into these batches, so it's roughly sitting in this container about 80 degrees, so there's cooling coils wrapped inside of our fermenters, just because the yeast right now, as you reach down, you can feel kind of the carbon dioxide that radiates off of this, but also the heat is building up. So
Yeah.
the yeast tends to overwork itself, so those cooling coils keep it at that temperature, so that way it doesn't get above 100, 105 degrees, and allow it to continue to go through the progression over the next 3 days.
Makes sense.
If you want to, just pop right in there. It should be.
I was going to ask you. Wow, that's really good.
So you kind of see it's like as it starts to get up in age, when we go through that 3-day period of fermentation, it starts out very sweet, so you're still containing a lot of those sugars, and then once we get down to the latter halves of days 2 and day 3, it'll start to become a little bit more sour. I tend to find a lot more of like a sour apple kind of pear kind of flavor to it when it comes to our mash bills. So when we get down to about 1,000, 2,000 that's left in there, that's when they'll start to replenish it with one of our fermentation that's done here. So I think roughly throughout production, we have about 4 that usually stay empty, but that's because we'll have that to use to replenish with the new batches that's coming in off our cookers. And then everything that gets drained out will be steam clean. So with those that are encapsulated, it makes it a lot easier because steam can constantly pump through those pipelines. That transitions a lot faster. With our open vats here, we actually have to take those tarps and lay right here off that guardrail. They'll have to cover those up. It takes about 45 minutes to be able to get them prepped and ready to go.
Wow. And this is what you call a sweet mash fermentation.
Yes, starting out. We will use, with some of this, we'll have a little bit of a max set, mainly just with our rye mash bill. That's where we get our sour mash from. Mainly just for the consistency of that. Our wheat mash bill, however, will be a sweet mash, so we won't save any max set for those.
Very cool.
Here, let's go check out our cookers. See what we got going on. And it's especially fun because with our chain now, you can actually see the grains that are being deposited up here. So all of our grains will come out. Once they run through the hammer mill, our mill grains will be dropped down, encapsulated through those discs. The chain's going to pull it all the way over into cooker number 3 right now. So you see it's traveled all the way up to the top. Start to top right there. That's where it starts to make its way back around. So cooking roughly takes about 3 hours. So temperature starts out about 210 degrees. So this right now is our corn being deposited. It's going to have the corn and water mixed in with that blend. Once it's there, we'll drop down to about 175 degrees. We'll add 10% of that rye content to it. Allow that to cook at that temperature alongside with our corn. Then we'll go down to 145 degrees and we'll enter our malted barley. So that allows it to cook, but also those enzymes to break down all of those large starches into those simple sugars, which is why you kind of taste a lot of that being a lot sweeter. But mainly because the sugars are a lot smaller component, so when you add the yeast to it, it makes the breakdown process a little simpler. Starches are a lot longer. I think it's about 8 chains that go into it, so that digestion stage takes a little bit longer when it comes to that fermentation.
Makes sense. And this is 4,000 gallons each?
Yeah, so these 2 4,000 gallon vats, roughly cook time would be about an hour and a half apart from each other, but once they're done, These two combined fill up one of our 8,000 gallon fermenters you see here on the main floor. The 16,000 gallon vats, which doubles the capacity, we're going to take those two plus the third here in the corner just to fill up one of those containers.
Wow. So 2 of these go into that one.
These two and that one together. But yes, if you were to combine these two together, fill up just one of those.
Wow. Very cool. So they fill the barrels here, and then they go age in one of the 9 rick houses. Then one of the barrels just came back. They dump it here.
Yeah, so they kind of dumped that one here. It may not have been able to fit in the last truck whenever they did. They're emptying out. But usually it's about 9 barrels that'll fit up here at a time, but it's anywhere between about 200 to 300 barrels they're actually going to be emptying. So once they kind of come through, it just kind of forms like an assembly line. They'll all roll over here. The hydraulic will lift it up. And they'll have the guys that will basically kind of rotate the barrels, basically clock it. When they roll down, they basically take the bung out, put the whiskey straw in, turn it over, and then let everything else in.
Very cool. So those are the trucks taking all the finished barrels into the rick houses?
Yep.
Wow. At every given moment, you guys have more barrels being filled, and every single day you guys just start aging barrels?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. How many a day?
I would say roughly we're filling up to about 300 barrels a day. So our capacity's really started to increase with that. We were at about 150 before the expansion, so now that's really started to see an increase.
And are you guys building more rick houses?
We will in the future. We're still waiting on approval from the city. We have land that's off-site that could get us up to building about 20 more rick houses. So once we kind of get that approval from there, then that project will be the next one to come through.
Is that the oldest one?
It is. So we operated roughly about 90 acres here. So each rick house will store around 20,000 barrels in each one. Now this one's going to be a little bit less than that capacity, and that's mainly just because we have 2 less ricks to store barrels in. But this is where we also bring our groups out here on tours. We created an open space environment here to where you can actually gaze up and just see just how many barrels are actually aging inside the rick house.
Wow. I've not seen these many. I've just seen like 3 floors, I guess.
I know, I was hoping for that reaction.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, but this really kind of gives you more an in-depth look of just how many barrels are sitting here. So this is 6 stories inside the rick house here. You can see each floor mapped out here up to the left. There's 18 rows of barrels right here on this front wall, and then there's 30 racks of barrels on each side going all the way back, except for this one, because again, we are too shy. But right there at the back, you kind of see that garage door there. So once we start loading in barrels, that garage door will open. There's actually a flatbed elevator that lies right there at the bottom. And so that'll carry about 4 barrels at a time. So when our barrel hands are out here, they'll have their designated floors these barrels are going to be assigned to. So let's say we're up on the 2nd floor. We'll have about 3 guys up here, 2 guys that are going to be rolling the barrels out onto the floor. One will be up to basically push the button to bring those barrels up. They'll roll them down kind of this little aisleway here. So this kind of just helps keep the barrels on track and get them over to our assigned ricks.
They clock the barrels too.
Yes.
So they know where to rotate, where to start rolling them so that the bunk's facing up.
Yeah, and that'll start basically on the ground floor, especially when we have to get them up onto tiers 2 and 1. So when we're doing that, when you clock it and they start to bring that up, our hydraulic, basically our little, what's it called, our ricker, that's what they'll already have it already put when they clock the barrel, and then we'll just start rolling it down. So that just makes sure that the bung that's inside the barrel here, you kind of see, it's anywhere between about 2 and 10 on that clock. So that way we keep that bung upright. So as they sit here and age, we just allow that to keep it contained. Because if it was right here or under the bottom, some of that pressure can kind of help build up in that area, so you may see some leakage, or it could accidentally pop the bung out altogether. So as long as it stays on top, we minimize that risk altogether.
The ones that are in the same area of the rick house and have the same mash bill and the same fill date taste same?
No.
They will
They
all
can
be
be right next. No, they can be right next to each other.
Yeah. So that's just kind of the magic of the single barrel.
Right.
And it's just because it's like, yeah, you can have 2 that sit right next to each other and they taste completely different.
Yeah.
It just kind of depends on the season and also how much with that distillate takes from those individual states that are used to make it.
You could even say like the sun hitting one of these barrels more often than the one next to it could change the impact, or could impact the flavor profile of that bourbon. So this is 18,000 barrels, right there?
About 19,200 or so.
About.
That's what they tell me, so that's what I'm sticking to.
So we have, so there's, how many of these buildings did you say?
9.
9. So you're looking at max capacity of 110,000 roughly.
Wow.
Maybe greater than 100,000. One warehouse in Lawrenceburg has 80,000 barrels.
One warehouse has
One
80,000.
warehouse. Yeah.
In Lawrenceburg, Kentucky?
Lawrenceburg, Indiana. So
In Indiana, sorry, yeah.
So we have like 2 floors below, 6 floors up, 10,000 barrels a floor.
That's Ross and Squibb, right? Wow.
Yep.
And that's the Project X, Penelope.
Yes. Those are just some of our like display models that our brand manager wanted to make sure was on display.
So Yellowstone is from Ross and no, that's a limestone.
Correct.
And
Yeah,
then
so-
this one's also limestone, right?
That is ours.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yes. So Old Ezra is kind of like an older version of like the Ezra Brook. Off to your left, you have a water dropper and coffee beans. So the coffee beans mainly is used to resensitize. So since we have these capped up, the ethanol is going to really start to accumulate up towards the top of the Glencairn glass. So we may experience a little bit of fatigue when it comes to nosing. So coffee beans are a great way to kind of go through and resensitize. If you don't like coffee, the next best thing is going to be smelling the crux of your arm, because we are accustomed to our own scent, and it's one of the least contaminated parts of our body, especially going out to the distillery. We touch the mash, we rub white dog on our hands, probably touch some wood or barrels out in the warehouse. So that's not going to be a little contaminated, but this, just don't sneeze.
It's neutral.
And then with our tasting setup, we'll go from these with all of our brands from left to right. I like to always put out first and foremost with these tasting notes that are right here on the stage. These are just general tasting characteristics that can go for any of these. So whatever they sit in front of does not necessarily mean it's going to nose or taste like that, especially because the order always changes when we do our tasting lineups. So if people pick up the first glass and they're like, this doesn't smell or taste spicy, well, it might not be.
Yeah.
So it's all just kind of helpful. It's like if you smell it and it smells sweet, you can always look down and it's like a cheat sheet. It's like, okay, I can pick up caramel from this, or I can pick up some vanilla, marshmallow, something like that.
What I think of Kentucky bourbon and our 78, 10, 12 that we make, like I think of like chocolatey, like Whoppers, like the candies, because that malt is so intense. Here, I think it's a little bit on the sweeter end.
Yeah. The spice is also not too overwhelming.
Exactly.
It's very nutty though.
Yeah, so like the 21% rye bourbon is one of our, if we had like core mash bills, like 3 core items that we make, 21% rye bourbon would be one of them. This next one is a 36% rye, so 60 corn, 36 rye, 4 malted barley. There's a couple entry-level bourbons, right? We make a 99% corn bourbon. That's like a sugar sweet palm. I think that's like your base level, entry-level bourbon. 21%, you get a little bit more complex. 36% I feel like is a bourbon drinker's bourbon, almost. Like, this is the one, like if I took it out with my friends, the 36% would be what everybody I think prefers. A lot of people blend between the two, the 21 and 36. They'll do a 60-40 blend between the two, and they kind of mellow each other out a little bit.
This is like a sponge cake.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good.
Yeah, I'm kind of like more prefer to have the rye content higher than the malted barley.
Yeah.
Because I know it's like, I mean, I know ours, like the malted barley is more, and I think it just has a good balance, but I feel like I just get a lot more flavor.
Beer notes.
Yeah.
And stuff
With
like
the
that.
malted barley, I don't like the beer notes.
Yeah, that's what I'm the same way.
Mm.
This is a revisit. This is the 78 10 12 that's available. So this is a 6-year, December of 19.
Oh wow, this is very sweet.
Mm-hmm. You see what I'm talking about? That chocolatey kind of.
It's so good.
That flavor profile is so different than what we have for Indiana.
This is Kentucky?
This is Kentucky. This is the 78 10 12 mash bill.
From here.
From here.
It's just pure Nutella.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it has the hazelnut,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also so buttery.
Nutella, say less.
Yeah.
It's the most viscous out here. So good.
Well, I'm a firm believer that everybody in Kentucky likes to say it's 95% of all bourbons made in Kentucky. Like, we're right across the river, and we make a lot of damn good whiskey too.
Yeah.
And it's like that, and I know what our output is, and I think it's a line, but it's just interesting the different flavors. So I just got done with the Lux Row barrel pick, or more so like a tour. I spoke about a lot of things. He told me a lot of inside stuff that I wasn't able to record. They also gave me this little thing, VIP guest, because it was a VIP tour, or at least that's what they call it. And he also gave me the shirt, which was very nice. It's a Lux Row Distillers polo.
which is very cool. I'm heading to the Heaven Hill Bartling Experience. I hope I make it in time. It closes at 5 p.m. It's about 4:32, so it's about 7 minutes from here, so not bad. Let's see if I make it in time. But it's been a lot of fun at Lux Row. I've never seen a bigger rickhouse, by the way. It's a 19,000 barrel rickhouse, which is pretty crazy to me. And you know those rickhouse pictures that you see in the middle, there's someone pushing the barrels and off that in the dark? It was one of those rickhouses. Cool stuff. I'll see you guys at Heaven Hill if it's open.